Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, November 23, 2023. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. We are taking nothing for granted, says President Ali as visits to frontier villages planned. U.S. Department of Defense teams to visit Guyana amid Venezuela's aggression. GDF strengthens military cooperation with Brazil, Canada. Furniture bond house destroyed in CANJE fire, and President Ali will soon announce salary increases for public servants. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Irfan Ali today urged residents of Region 1 not to succumb to Venezuelan narrative and efforts to drive fear into them. At the same time, he made it clear that the government is taking nothing for granted and is working on strengthening Guyana's defense capabilities. Here is Gerald Bryan with our lead story tonight.
On Thursday, President Dr. Irfan Ali, accompanied by military and other officials, visited Mabaruma Region 1, a region which shares a border with Venezuela. During his visit, the president assured residents that the government is not taking Venezuela's referendum and rhetoric against Guyana for granted.
We don't want any overreaction or overreach, but I want to assure you that behind the scenes, in addition to the physical men and women you're seeing on the ground, there's a lot more work that is going on. So as the situation unfolds, as the analysis continues, they will determine what strength and what level of physical presence they need, what level of asset they need. But we are sparing no effort. Everything that is needed, we are making available, but we don't want to sound alarm bells. As I said, we are not taking anything for granted because we are listening carefully to the rhetoric that is coming out of Venezuela. The only difference now in an electoral cycle is the politicians with the rhetoric. Now we are hearing military politicians who should be more measured in what they say are joining the rhetoric. So we are not taking anything for granted.
At the same time, however, he expressed the view that based on their assessments, they do not believe Venezuela will act recklessly. According to the president, it is important that residents do not succumb to the Venezuelan narrative and give in to fear.
We want our population to be assured of what we are doing, to be assured that our partners are solidly behind us. There's a series of activities you will see that will demonstrate how solid this relationship is. And I've been engaging many leaders even yesterday. I spoke with many leaders in the region, many leaders internationally on this matter, and they have all once again very strongly condemned any action or any behavior by Venezuela that leads to recklessness. And they have all, President Lula made it very clear that the ICJ process should be respected and outcomes should be respected. We can't allow them to win by creating the fear and having person responding to that fear. But when you respond to that narrative, then we are feeding into their propaganda.
Meanwhile, it was announced during University of Guyana-sponsored talks on the border controversy that more government ministers would be making visits to communities sharing borders with Venezuela. In fact, Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo has a meeting planned with residents of Anna Regina for Sunday, November the 26th. The meeting, which will be held at the Anna Regina car park from 1600 hours, was organized by the Region 2 Regional Democratic Council. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Regional peace and border security were among topics discussed during a Defense and Foreign Affairs meeting in Brazil, at which Guyana was represented by a delegation led by Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, who informed the forum of the threat posed by Venezuela to Guyana and the region at large. Here is Gerald Bryan again with the details.
The Defense and Foreign Affairs meeting got underway in Brasilia, Brazil on Wednesday, during which Guyana's Prime Minister, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, made a presentation. Phillips spoke extensively about the rising tension between Guyana and Venezuela and the military buildup on the border. Further, the Prime Minister informed them of the December 3rd referendum planned by the Spanish-speaking country. Phillips said that besides posing an existential threat to Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity in violation of international law, Venezuela's actions also represent a threat to the peace and stability of the region. Meanwhile, Colombia's former president Ivan Duque Marquez in a recent tweet denounced the present Venezuelan government as a dictatorship. In his tweet, he urged the international community to support Guyana against Venezuela's threats and aggression. Using his Twitter account, Duque, who served as president of Colombia from 2018 to 2022, noted that the Nicolas Maduro-led government is mobilizing troops and threatening Guyana's democracy. He also accused the Maduro regime of using the December 3rd referendum to manipulate the Venezuelan citizens by appealing to false nationalism. Jarrell O'Brien, The Evening News.
The Guyana Defense Force has recently reaffirmed the commitment to a long-standing partnership with its military counterparts in Brazil and Canada. Here are the details from Kamesi Slow.
The Guyana Defense Force, GDF, and the Canadian Armed Forces, CAF, have renewed their commitment to a long-standing and fruitful partnership marked by excellent relations and shared objectives. According to a statement from the GDF, its Chief of Staff, Brigadier Omar Khan, along with other key members of the force's leadership team, welcomed Colonel Marc-Antoine Fechu, the recently appointed Canadian non-resident military attaché to Guyana and Brazil. Colonel Fechu expressed the Canadian Armed Forces' eagerness to see the already robust relationship with Guyana flourish further. He emphasized his commitment to fostering a strong bond, acknowledging Guyana as a valuable ally. During his tenure, Colonel Fechu aims to contribute to the growth of this strategic partnership between the two nations. Meanwhile, Brigadier Khan highlighted the long-standing history of cooperation between the GDF and CAF. Notably, he emphasized the collaborative efforts in training, citing numerous instances where GDF officers have benefited from training opportunities as a result of this partnership. Brigadier Khan underscored the importance of such collaborations and expressed confidence in the continuous strengthening of ties. Guyana and Canada enjoy a close relationship built on more than 50 years of friendship, cooperation, and security partnership. Meanwhile, Guyana's Army Chief also recently opened the 26th regional meeting of military exchange at the Ramada Hotel in Guyana, emphasizing the enduring and mutually beneficial friendship between Guyana and Brazil. In his welcoming remarks, Brigadier Khan highlighted the shared values of democracy and respect for international law that underpin the strong ties between the two nations. The Chief of Staff emphasized that the meeting goes beyond military cooperation, adding value to regional stability and peace. Leading the visiting delegation from the Brazilian Armed Forces was Commander of the 1st Jungle Infantry Major General Paulo Santo Barba. He highlighted the significance of sharing concerns, intentions, and capabilities to ensure the continued safety of the region. Major General Santa Barbara also emphasized the interconnected nature of the regional security, stating that an issue affecting one country could have repercussions for all. The annual meeting between Guyana and Brazil focuses on various mutually beneficial areas, including border security, the operational environment, and any issues arising at the Bon-Fime-Lethem border, reflecting the importance of the two nations as neighbors with a common frontier. The military exchange is just one facet of the long-standing diplomatic relations between Guyana and Brazil, which date back to 1968. I am Kamesi Slow, reporting for the Evening News.
Guyana is working on its defense cooperation with several countries amid Venezuela's threat to annex the Essequibo region, and the United States Department of Defense has stepped up to offer high-level presence next week. Find out more in this Rupasina report.
During his weekly press conference on Thursday, Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo affirmed that the country's allies have been engaged to plan for any outcomes amid the heightened border controversy with Venezuela. From next week and leading into December, teams from the U.S. Department of Defense are scheduled to make several visits here.
We are going to be working with our allies to ensure that we plan for all eventualities. And I know that we're going to be working on greater defense cooperation with a number of countries. We would have from the U.S. Department of Defense next week 2 visits to Guyana by 2 teams, and then several other visits in the month of December.
Jagdeo contended that Guyana's position has always been one of peace and diplomacy, but his Venezuelan counterparts should make no mistake that the country will succumb to their aggression.
We've never been interested in having military bases here, but we have to protect our national interests. And so at the diplomatic level, through the ICJ, we have been working openly because we are a law-abiding country. We're a democratic country. Can't say the same thing about Venezuela. And we will continue to do so. And we are interested in maintaining peace in our country and on our borders. All the options available to us to defend our country will be pursued. Every option. We're not an aggressive power, as has been demonstrated by our track record.
The vice president also commented on what he described as misinformation and lies peddled by the political powers in the Spanish-speaking neighbor. He added that this frenzy over Guyana's landmass in recent years has been fueled by greed over the successes of the oil industry here.
But I think it's a kind of greed too. They've seen the successes in our oil and gas industry. Our production is set to overtake theirs. A big country that had a thriving oil and gas sector that they destroyed, much to the detriment of their people.
Meanwhile, Jagdeo cautioned against raising hysteria and tension among the population. Amid reports of an exodus in Regions 1 and 2, he clarified that reports coming from both the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority and the Transport and Harbor Department have shown no unusual activities in relation to traffic. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Coming up, persons with solid evidence of corruption should report to GPF, says Housing Ministry, and $103 million to improve water supply to Ithaca, Shielstown, and Blairmont. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
I trust out. And you trusting me out little more when you asking all them questions.
It's nothing to laugh about. 14, November 25 and 26.
You owe me too. May know what you think about this sugar bowl and come for free?
Tickets are $1,500, $2,500, and $3,000.
It's a catty tell me she was a daddy funeral. So I say no, I gonna roll up and I gonna meet she and I gonna deal with she right there.
Nothing to laugh about. 14.
John Lewis Styles is proud to introduce for the very first time their own brand of women's clothing. A line of hand-picked styles and designs of modern and contemporary women's clothing. Fashionable enough for the young. Styles that are timeless and quality that you're accustomed to. Choose from t-shirts, tops, pants, jackets, shorts, dresses, and even hoodies. So come see our new women's line on Waterloo Street on the 2nd floor. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digicel.
Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Hold on to your Santa hats, because there's up to $50 million in cash to be won. Activate any data plan, and you can be one of 14 winners to join Digicel's Spin to Win game show, where you can win millions in cash. Activate a data plan today on the best network and make this Christmas the best one yet.
Digicel.
As you know, we have been experiencing power outages prolonged power outages that we are totally dissatisfied with.
Right now, we are producing about 10 megawatt below what the peak requirement necessitates.
The truth be told, the pace at which we are growing would require us to double our capacity as quickly as possible. That is why the gas to energy project and the hydroelectric project is so important for us.
Giving you the best Christmas with Digital. This Christmas, it's all about the best. Digicel is bringing you the best deals, the best prices, and the best cash prizes. Get half off and a whopping 50 gigs of data when you purchase the Samsung A04 for just $14,000, the Samsung A14 for just $29,000, or the Samsung A24 for just $35,000. That's right, half off and 50 gigs of data. It doesn't get any better than this. So why wait? This Christmas, buy nothing but the best. Offer good while stocks last. Digital.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. The Ministry of Housing and Water today issued a statement in response to allegations of corruption, which have been circulating particularly on social media. Against this backdrop, anyone with solid evidence to substantiate corruption within the ministry is being urged to immediately report same to the Guyana Police Force or to the ministers or the Permanent Secretary. While noting that all information will be treated with strict confidence, the ministry has assured that a thorough investigation will be conducted into all allegations. The ministry further assured that it will not condone any form of unethical behavior or corruption, warning that any employee found to be engaging in corrupt transactions will face disciplinary action and also the full force of the law, where appropriate. It was also noted that in light of the social media allegations, the ministry has intensified monitoring of the activities in the areas highlighted in order to ensure that all procedures are strictly followed. Moreover, the ministry reminded that it does not have any middlemen or external agents who are authorized to conduct business on its behalf. Meanwhile, Vice President Dr. Barajagdeo has assured public servants that President Dr. Irfan Ali will announce increases in wages for this year, retroactive to January. Here's what he had to say on the matter.
People don't need to spread rumors about this matter. At some point in time, the president will announce it, and then it will be retroactive from January 1. There is a salary increase for 2023 to be announced.
We now report that a fire at Canefield CANJE last evening has destroyed a furniture business and a house, leaving 7 persons homeless. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael reports that the fire destroyed the 2 buildings belonging to the same owner.
The fire at Lot 61 West Canefield Settlement East CANJE Berbice was initially seen shortly before 22 hours on Wednesday at the premises which housed Chulaman Furniture Establishment and a house which was occupied by the businessman and his family of 6. The owner, Deodat Kikchan, said he was asleep when his sister awoke him and told him that the building was on fire. They started a bucket brigade, but the flames were too intense. The fire service arrived sometime after, but they too had challenges, even after accessing water from a nearby canal. According to the owner, the neighbors were burning garbage close to his fence earlier in the day, and he's of the opinion that the fire might have spread onto his premises. The fire destroyed the front building in which he and the 6 family members lived. The lower flat of the building was used to store equipment and some stock. The back building was used as a furniture bond.
All type of furniture, spindle, molding, ceiling, everything. Panel, door.
The 52-year-old Kikchan, who has been operating the furniture business for the past 32 years, said he had stocked up to fulfill numerous orders he had received for the upcoming holidays. He said about 30 vanity dressers, more than 15 wardrobes, and numerous equipment, including some which he recently purchased and had not yet put into use, all these were destroyed in the fire. Who do you supply furniture to?
Well, actually, we don't really supply nobody. This thing to sell right to house. The stock in the van and inside the van I'll actually sell it.
People stop by
So yeah, people well known all
it's
over.
like that
So
type
people
of
in
thing.
pipeline feel like one store actually.
We get a lot of wood and furniture back there. The whole place was fully furnished. You know, when this time here, we go back right back. And since yesterday, we can't the day. Me some okay, I'm in the band, but this happened and nothing. We got to start back fresh again. Got to start back fresh. Can't do nothing. We got to try and see what we can do. Keep going again. You know, got to keep going. We can't go, you know.
None of the equipment, buildings, or furniture were insured. The Guyana Fire Service is investigating the origin of the fire. Meanwhile, the Evening News understands that on its way to the scene of the fire, one of the fire trucks was involved in an accident with a motorcyclist, which left at least one person injured. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
The Palmyra call center is soon to commence operations. This was conveyed to this newscast by the operators who held a job fair over the weekend. Let's find out more from our Berbice correspondent, Andrew Carmichael.
With plans on stream to have Palmyra transformed into what Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell describes as a city, one of the first businesses at that location is set to commence operations within days. When the Palmyra development project started construction, 2 projects were placed as the first 2 to get on stream: a state-of-the-art business center for persons with disabilities and a call center which is being built by the government and operated by the private sector. Those 2 buildings have been completed. Currently, 9 contractors are working on the infrastructural development stage, in which $5.2 billion has been plugged. As it relates to the call center, Managing Director Joseph Corelli says initially the company will be employing 50 persons with plans to increase that amount as time progresses.
4 sets of 50 individuals to have at least 200 jobs provided by the end of next year, but hopefully more than that depending on the amount of shifts we can cover.
According to the Managing Director, following the selection of the first 50 persons, they will be trained, and that training should last for 1 week. When are you hoping that persons might actually start making calls and so forth?
I'd say within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, it really depends on how quickly we can get everything finished.
Currently, the cubicles are being completed and computers are being made ready for the commencement of business. Meanwhile, Project Coordinator Aaron Joseph also spoke with Evening News about the call center's operations.
It's become a private entity in collaboration with the government.
Have you had any experience in call centers before?
Yes, we do. We actually 8 years in Guyana already. We have one on the East Bank, Providence.
The company has invested $20 million and is hoping to provide at least 200 jobs on a long-term basis. The call center will be targeting the U.S. market. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The Ministry of Housing and Water is currently trying to improve the quality of water being supplied to the communities of Shieldstown, Blairmont, and Ithaca on the west bank of Berbice in Region 5. This is being done by connecting the villages to the cotton tree treatment plant. However, as we hear in this Andrew Carmichael report, the process has caused some discomfort to residents, causing them to seek an audience with Dharam Kumar Siraj, who sits on the board of directors of the Guyana Water Incorporated.
The water being supplied to the communities of Shieldstown, Blairmont, and Ithaca has a very high iron content. In fact, the water is untreated. Currently, a project to place 2,481 meters of pipeline is currently being executed. However, the contractor who dug up the road to place the pipelines has left sections of the road impassable, causing concerns for residents of those communities. Only recently, a truck traversing with fertilizer for Gaisuka was left stuck in the road after falling into one of the holes left by the contractor. Residents say they made appeals to the contractor but to no avail, and subsequently contacted the Guyana Water Inc., where they were told that when the laying of pipelines project is completed, the pipelines will have to be pressure tested. Not satisfied with the response, they sought to raise their concerns with Dharam Kumar Siraj, who sits on the board of directors of GWI. That meeting was held on Wednesday. According to Siraj, currently plans are afoot to improve the Cotton Tree Water Treatment Plant, connect the three communities, and then decommission the well at Itika.
In executing this work, it is necessary to dig along this road here to lay the 12-inch line. We have currently finished laying the 12-inch line. We'll pressure test and then we'll commence work to fix back the roadside. So the residents will be inconvenienced for a little bit more time.
Meanwhile, with the development of the Shields Town New Housing Scheme, which is a project being executed by the Housing Ministry, whereby the area is being developed for 700 house lots, residents have raised concerns over dust pollution.
There is the dry season. There is dust flying all over the place. So we'll try to now see how we can incorporate the soaking along this main road here too, to try bring some relief to the residents here who are being affected by the dust, of course caused by the stockpiling of sand and caused also by the extensive dry weather. You'll have dust even without the stockpiling of the sand. The stockpiling has compounded this problem. So a little bit of soaking of the road will bring about some relief.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic on Friday, November 24, 2023 at 2 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 14 hours on Friday, November 24, 2023, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Groups drawn for Elite League Promotional Tournament and South Africa A Tour Windies A to chase 224 for victory. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
What you doing for the car? Hey, come on. What you doing for the car?
Get them, Reggie. Show them what we do. Show them, okay.
It's nothing to laugh about 14, November 25 and 26. Tickets are $1,500, $2,500, and $3,000.
You, on the other hand, owe me for since last month when you credit the bag of rice and pepper season and the extra small corn. Credit!
Yeah, ready? We are short so far.
Look along, me tell you, buy one generator. Now the picnic are online test and blackout come and cut off everything.
Sorry, son. Radhika, Abby go tomorrow.
Abby go now.
At Sylvie's, we stock products from more than 22 different sectors in mining, construction, wood processing, vulcanizing, home improvements, and more.
Are you getting generator?
So this is a 3000 better size generator. This will work your lights, your fan, your TV, and your fridge.
Well, Abby can buy one for Abby and Abby can buy one for Mommy too.
Yeah, and Mommy could even key start it, because all you have to do is hook up the battery and
visit us today at 31 High in Hatfield Street, where our friendly and knowledgeable team members are willing to assist you. You can also call us on 227-6243 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 and shop via our website at www.sylviesonline.com.
I big up down pour mill.
One plucking machine, one pressure washing machine, one juice dispenser, one engine, one pepper grinding machine, one blowing water pump, one sugar cane juicer, circle sir. We gotta get alright then food warmer. We gotta get. What are you looking at?
Did you know that when you leave your property unoccupied and unmanaged, it deteriorates much faster than you can imagine? Then before you know it, much of your hard-earned investment is wasted. At Hand in Hand Trust Corporation, property management is our business. Whether you travel for long periods, live overseas, or have several properties that require managing, let us at Hand in Hand Trust Corporation take care of this for you. Your property is safe with us. Hand in Hand Trust Corporation Incorporated, a